Welcome back to the Ultimate Planning System and the Passion to Profits Planning Program. It's focus time. I want to welcome everyone back. And now that we've gone through our planning process and we've addressed the values and we've addressed the excuse me one second. We've addressed the values. We've determined what is most important to us, and we've also created intentions, which are the form of our mission, vision, and goals. Those are the intentions that we're putting out there. We want to put all of this together to create our unique focus formula. So you should be looking at this here. Okay. We want to create our unique focus formula. And before we can do that, we want to know what our priorities are and what's most important. So what I want to do is show everybody a quick video. And that I watched many years ago and thought it was super uber important. And it made a big impact on me because I didn't understand the difference. And also what we're trying to do is we're going to take a picture of where we are today. After we watch this video, we're going to go through what we call the life wheel. The wheel that I've been showing you over and over again so far is going to be so many different things for you in this program. One, it's part of the values. Another one, that wheel, is also all the different categories in your life and your business and identifying what's most important to you, your mission, your vision, and goals. It's also going to be tied into the time blocking colors. So you're going to see this wheel over and over again. In addition, today we're going to, if you remember, we talked about the motivational gap and where you are going to where you are today. So this is your life, and it can even be tied to a chakra color. It can be tied to time blocking colors. For the purpose of the exercise we're going to do after the video, you're going to quickly rate yourself on the happiness of each area of your life and then add up the points. So 0 would be terrible, or 10 is perfect and wonderful. But when we do this, we're setting our intentions and we know where we're starting from. You know, we talked about the GPS and putting in the address and the GPS so you can get to where you want to go in the previous module. So that's really what this is for, is to know where we are. If we don't know where we are, we can't exactly put an address in there. The distance between the two is your trip when you're in the car, or for us is going to be your motivational gap. If you perceive that distance to be extremely far and long, it's going to be tougher to get there. But if we can show you how to shorten that, where your belief is shorter or something you feel like is achievable or attainable, it's going to be much easier for you to be able to put this into your time management and be more productive. So also our focus is going to be to now learn and to pull us forward so that you can create that space versus ruminating and worrying about all the things that we can't fix, because that's what all of us usually do, is we're so frustrated about things we can't fix. So you're going to look at that and versus the other one, and then we're going to say, you know, look, okay, what does this look like and how are we going to get there? But let me go ahead and get the video on, and hopefully everybody will be able to hear it very well. I'll put it on as loud as possible. Get the video up. Okay. And this is I think this is Chrome. Yeah, it is. Okay. Main screen. You should be able to see the video there. And Okay, I love this video. It's one of my favorite videos. And who liked that? And who's never seen it before? Too bad no audio came through at all. Yes, I will send it through. I don't know why we were not able to hear it. I had it on very, very loud, so I apologize for you, to you for that. So I'm sorry for that. It was a very good video, and I'll make sure that I send it out. Wow, I don't know why that you guys wouldn't hear it at all. I'll have to figure that out because I'm not sure why that would happen. Okay, let's get back over to the slides here. What, for those of you who've never seen it, the philosophy of the video of what we just saw was he asked her to put all of the rocks into the bucket that had the green stones or sand. And what I've always, and that's one of the biggest impactful things that I learned from several people. One was Mary Kay Ash back when I was in my 20s and she was still alive. She taught us as women when I was involved in Mary Kay, God first, family second, career third. So that's a really basic principle of your time blocks or how you're going to spend your time. And I honor the time block system so much so that it maybe even irritates other people because they can't get on my calendar right then and there. But if I don't honor the time block system, one, I don't know, me being someone who is ADHD, I don't know what's coming or going, and I can't do half of the things that I do. I live by a time block schedule, and the block has to do with my highest priorities. So when I start off my year in the planner, and also in Gmail calendar, I go and I put in a reoccurring birthday for my son every year and I block that whole day off. I put in my birthday. I put in the holidays that I know that we're going to be gone or I want to go and talk, and these are important things. These are things that are important to me. In each one of those categories that we've just completed with the goals, let me find this here. Each one of these categories, as we just talked about, the physical fitness, the financial, the recreation and free time, whatever those goals are. Let's say that this back when I did this 3 years ago when I started my coaching practice, or I went full time in my coaching practice, is I said I want to be making $10,000 a month and I want to have 17 one-on-one clients and 2 groups, 1 program, and so forth. And then in relationships, it was like 1 or 2, it was 2 date nights with Dan, and I wanted to have quality women relationships. There was just specific things that I put in there, and I addressed these categories. And also in the financial too, as I addressed that I had paid off all of my debt at the end of the year. That whole, if I wave a realistic magic wand, I was very specific on these goals and these vision. Now when I go and I block out the activities in my calendar, they're tied into those goals. So if you have something in your calendar, so that way when somebody comes to you and says you have too much on your plate, you've got too much going on, well, we are not going to take things off our plate. We're overachievers. That's who we are. It's what we do. But when you do get to that point, you have to find out what's getting in your way. With this process that I'm teaching you, you'll be able to quickly identify it, what is overwhelming you, and you can look back and say, I'm doing a lot of this, and it's not even tied to my values, and it's not tied to my mission, vision, and goals. And it gives you permission to be able to let something go. So, or if you see that you're not building those relationships with friends and it's something that you have in your goals, let's see, let's see. I don't know why you guys couldn't hear anything. Let me go back and look at some of the. Okay, so Miriam, by August 2016, needs to register for a marathon. And then when she registers for that, she's going to have steps that she has to take to be a part of that marathon. So those types of things are going to be, one, it's tied to her value of integrity, and it's one of her vision, mission, goals. Now it's going to start going into her calendar, all the things that she needs to do. If she doesn't put it in her calendar now as a reoccurring event, she knows what she is, let's say, I'm going to use Miriam as an example, and she knows what I'm doing too. So Miriam, you're off of mute. Hi. And we're all rooting for
Yeah.
you for the half a marathon.
Thank you.
So, yes. So if you register for half a marathon, when would you actually be doing it?
Normally, it's 3 months before the event. You
Okay.
do a long run on a weekend and two short runs during a week.
Okay.
But you need to do it 3 months before,
So you have
especially
to
for a full
register three
marathon.
months before. And to get ready for this, what are the things that you have to do that you think, what are goals you need to reach? Where do you need to be with your level of fitness to participate? And I'm starting at the top and working backwards. Where do you need to be? And think about this, everybody, with your financial goals. Somebody said, I want to have $5,000 a month. Okay, great. What has to be happening for you for that $5,000 a month, or for you? Where do you need to be to participate in this marathon in 3 months? You have to be able to do what?
Okay, I've done marathons for
Okay.
6 years and have done
Okay.
marathons. So from you really anyone can run starting from zero. Where we start is an hour. We practice an hour for two
Correct, but
weeks.
I want to
Then we
back
move.
into it. I know you know this, but I want to back into it so they can see the for that, like, if you have to be doing, say, let's say you were starting at zero now and you had 3 months to go. At the third month, right before the marathon, what is it that you need to be able to do? And then my next
I need
question
to
from
be able
there
to
is
get to 11 miles.
11 miles. So what do
Yeah.
you think that you need to be doing by the second month and then by the first month? We'll back into it.
All right. I don't know if I tracked it that well, but I would think that by the second month you have to be a little bit more than half.
Okay. Well,
So I
you've
have
done
to.
it for so long, yeah. We could just
Yeah.
like come up with something. And then by
Well,
the
I would
first
say
month,
seven in miles, by then,
okay. And
because
so by the first month would be what, 3 or 4?
yeah, get into wow, yeah. I don't. I normally train for full marathon, so I don't have the numbers by half.
Okay. Well, we'll just make up something so that way they
Right.
understand the whole process. And then so let's say you're coaching me to run a marathon, and I have last time I ran 5 miles was 27 years ago in Saudi Arabia. Okay. So I know I did do 2 mile sprints up until 3.5 years ago when I got injured again. But
Okay.
before that, so right now, me knowing that I'm at zero and I'm going to go run a half a marathon in 3 months, we know that by the end of the third month, I need to be able to do X. By the end of the second month, and then we back into it.
Right.
Rather than going, oh my God, I have to run 11 miles, then we create those baby steps.
It's
So,
13.2 miles, 13.1
mhm,
mile for half. You
mhm,
never run in your practice, you never get to that until the day of the marathon.
okay,
You
awesome.
get, yeah, so that's the practice. You never do it completely until the day of with all the adrenaline and the energy and all the people around you, you do the 2 extra miles
Okay.
then.
So let's pretend today is August 1st and I just signed up for the marathon and I'm zero. So what do I need to go and put in my calendar every single day, time wise, and when I should be doing, what should I be doing to work towards this goal?
Okay, 3 times a week, you're going to walk or run at least a
Hmm.
half an hour, 3 times a week to start prepping. Eventually, you're going to start increasing
Hmm.
each one to mileage. At the beginning, it's just time, so aerobically, you can make it.
Oh, I
You
can
know,
do that.
yeah.
Who here can go and walk or run 30 minutes 3 times a week? So I'm going to go in my calendar now and I'm going to put that time in my calendar, and I'm also going to time block it the color that's coordinated with the number. So for over on it's on this side, we're not using this side here. That's not recreation and free time. That is, oops.
Integrity for me.
Yeah, for your value, but for the success area is going to be physical fitness and health. Yes?
Yes, it is physical fitness.
Okay. So that would be red in my calendar. Do you see how over
All
here on
right.
the left is physical fitness and health? Don't pay attention to the right. I'll take those out. On the left, physical fitness and health, and that's red. So it would be red in my calendar, and I would go and plan it in
Mm-hmm.
at 3 times a week. When do
Mm-hmm.
I have to start increasing that?
Oh, every week we increase it.
Every
Just on
week?
this, Yeah, every week until we get a plateau for the short runs, which are the 2 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
and the long runs, which is either Saturday, Sunday, depending on the people's religious, when they
Uh-huh.
do it. We increase once we get to an hour, that we get into mileage, and then we increase 2 miles every week.
Hmm. Okay.
So we
Let
get
me let me go to the calendar. I'm just going to go to a blank calendar and show everybody what this looks like. And I'm just giving you a little sample of what we're doing with the time blocks and how this works. Okay, let me get to a blank calendar.
By the way, just so I can give you the full, you're
Mm-hmm.
not allowed to only run 3 times a week. 2 times a week, you have to do yoga or something else that stretches and uses other muscles, or you'll
Perfect.
never get to a full run. So you're really working out 5 to 6 times a week. You always take a day off.
Well, you're going to help me
Just one
put
day.
that in my calendar then right now, okay? So
Okay.
you're going to help me put that in my calendar. Let me take everything else off and I think I want to make sure I don't have other people's calendars in here. I don't. Okay, no, I don't need this one. And let me put this screen back on. And we're on Chrome, I think. I just want to make sure everybody's able to see the calendar that we have up here. Okay, so I have lost my sanity and decided to go run with Miriam. Okay, so Miriam, now
Yeah.
let me go over here to August 1st because today's August 1st for pretend. Now, what do I need to do now for 3 months? I need to put in 30 minutes 3 times a week to walk or run, correct?
Yeah, for the first 2 weeks.
Okay, for the
First,
first 2 weeks. Okay,
right.
sounds good. Is that one going to continue also, or am I gonna add to it, or am I gonna change that completely in 3 weeks?
Well, we're going to increase it. We get to an hour. Once we get to an hour, then we start doing mileage. And mileage is kind of different for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
depending how fast you run. Some people
Yeah.
might do 9-minute miles. I do 13.5-minute miles. So
Okay.
my mileage goal might take me a little longer than somebody who runs a 9-minute mile.
Okay. Sounds good. So for me, I'm gonna have to do this in, well, I live in Florida, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm trying to think. So the best time to be able to do this is gonna be in the morning, right? So I'm gonna go and put this in if you look at, I'm in the I just want to make sure everybody can see in my Google Calendar. If you click on where you want to start an event, and now I'm in this event here,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put in my practice run slash walk 3 times a week, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's going to be from 8 to 8:30 every morning. Now, right now I just started on the first. I'm going to make sure if you go down here that the color is red because it is part of that time blocking color. So the charts that we have in this program, not only are they tied to the values, that they're tied to the mission, vision, goals, that they're tied to the chakras, they're also the colors were tweaked to match the actual time blocking colors in the calendar. So that way we weren't trying to recreate the wheel over and over again. So you want to make sure you put the color red, and you see down here it says show me as available or busy. Make sure
Mm-hmm.
that you click busy because when we get to the app on how to automate yourself in systems, if you're not doing this, you're going to have a mel of a hess. So make sure that you have busy on here that you're running whenever you have something that you're not available. So from 8 to 8:30. Now I'm going to click repeat. It's going to happen weekly every week on Monday for me, Wednesday, and Friday. This is the day that I pick. You guys can pick different days, but for me, this is the time that I know is going to work best. And I'm going to make sure that it ends. So let's pretend that the marathon is September, October, November. That's December 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to schedule this all the way out to December 1st. And now it's going to appear in my calendar right here every week. You'll see as this continues to go. It's in there every week, all the way Wait, August, September, October. Actually, it should have been November 1st. I miscalculated. But it's in here right here. Okay. So after 2 weeks, I'm going to do what now, Miriam? You said I have to do?
Well, it eventually gets to after 2 weeks, you'll do a 1 hour run
Okay.
for 2 weeks, and then you increase. Then we get
So I
into
have to
mileage.
increase from 30 to an hour?
Yes.
Okay. And then I click all events because I just made that change. So we have this week, then we have next week, and then we have the following week. Now I'm going to look, all I have to do is open this up. You go to the date where I want to start increasing it an hour. I edit it, open it up, and now I'm going to change this to an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now everybody, okay, so now it's an hour. When I hit save, it's going to say only this event, the following events are all events. I'm going to hit following because I don't want to change any of the events before that date. So
Right.
all of the following events are now going to go to an hour going forward. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So now what do I have to add in there, Miriam? Because I'm about to give up
You
at
have
this
to
point.
select the day that you're going to be doing your long run because the other ones will never be more than an hour, the two
Okay.
short.
So
And
when do I
then
start doing a long run?
we do it by mileage, and the long runs, when we get to mileage, we're adding 2 miles every week.
What week do I start doing a long run?
Well, you see, I run on Saturdays, so my long run's always on a Saturday because
No,
I
but
plan.
in this 90-day process for me,
I'm
remember
gonna
I'm starting at
tell you,
zero.
right. You're going
What
to
week are you going to start having me start doing a long run?
after you've done 1 hour twice, then you start getting into adding mileage. So let's pretend
Mileage.
Friday is going to be your day that you can add mileage, that you have time available.
Okay. And
And
let's say
then,
I'm running a 10-minute mile. So I'm just going to add another 30 minutes to this in case.
right.
Okay. So now I'm going to open up. So I've already done it twice, right? And oops. So now I'm going to go into the 19th and I'm going to add another 30 minutes to this day.
And only on Fridays or whatever day you picked, you start
Mm.
adding time and mileage. It's really mileage.
Okay. So I'm only going to change this event, not all of them. And then look, I'm going to have to go into all of the Fridays now and just expand it. If you click on the bottom, you can expand it just like
Right.
that,
Right.
only this event. And I'll do that to all of the Fridays. Now what do I have to do?
Well, until you get to 11 miles, 11 and a half miles, whatever it takes you. Some people, when I run a full marathon, it's 6 hours for me. Run a half
So,
marathon is 2.5 hours for me.
so when am I going to start making longer? So I've been doing this longer run.
Probably at almost by the last month is when you're pretty close to what you want to do.
So when do I start increasing this one that I have for an hour and a half now?
And you're never going to get to more than 2 hours or 2.5 hours.
Okay.
So on the third month, I would say you get to 2 hours that you're budgeting.
Okay.
Because we're only doing half
Like
a,
that.
half a marathon.
Okay. Do you guys see how you do this with anything? It's not just a marathon, it's anything. So we're already this is the end of the second month, putting it at the 90 minutes. So now I'm getting into, well, this is still the second month here. Now I'm going into the third month and I'm going to make this 2 hours.
Right.
There. So now it's in my Friday. Is that right? I think I did this right. Okay. Um, and then what else do I have to do? So I have to do some stretching on some other
Yeah.
days and stuff,
So
right?
on the alternate days, you will
Mm-hmm.
do yoga. I mean, I do everything at night for me,
Mm-hmm.
except for my long runs, which I start at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning as we get later into it.
Got it.
So
Okay.
you're not running at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when
Correct.
you
Okay.
finish, so you have to manage your time and the sun.
So you're going to do yoga on the alternating days? Is that
Yeah,
what you said?
yoga or bicycle riding. It all depends on what you choose.
And how
So
long do you think I should be doing that?
usually it's an hour.
Okay. So on the alternate days, do I start that the first week?
Probably by the second week, you should be already registered to do something else.
Okay, so I'm going to put in yoga the first week, okay? Yoga for 30 minutes.
Hmm. And you could keep it at 30 minutes of forever,
Okay.
throughout the whole thing, so long you're doing something that's not wearing and tearing the same joints.
Tuesday and Thursday. That's it, just twice.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Twice or three
And
if
then
you're
and
interested, but twice at least.
make sure I have it red. Remove that. Make sure it says busy. And I'm adding this in here, yoga, and that's going to go all the way out. It's going to fill in these other days.
Hmm.
But according to Miriam, by the second week, I'm going to have to add some other stuff. So here we are in the third week.
No,
Now
no,
what I'm going
you can continue yoga. If that's what you're going to do, half an hour, that's fine.
and what about the bike riding and all of that?
No, no, no. You can choose bike riding. You can choose yoga. I say yoga,
Okay.
but sometimes I do bike riding and yoga. It's
Uh-huh.
just something that is not using the same exact muscles and joints
Okay.
of running. That's all.
And is there ever a time that I need to pick this up? Start doing more than
No,
30 minutes on
no,
those days?
no. I normally do an hour. So if it's
Okay.
Miriam, it's an hour of that,
Okay.
of alternate, whatever you want to call it. It could be yoga, it could be bicycling, it could be isometric stretching, it could be Pilates, it could be anything
Okay.
that's not running.
So I'm going to do that the first month, and then starting in September, I'm going to expand my horizons, and I'm going to put yoga slash bike
Whenever.
slash whatever, slash woohoo here, and I'm going to change that to 9 o'clock. Yeah, to 1 hour, and increase. But I'm not going to like kill myself the first
No,
month. So
no.
it's all bite-sized pieces. Hit save, and then it says only following or all. So I'm going to do all the following events. So
Hmm.
now, if you guys look at this, we've created by the month a schedule to run a half a marathon in 3 months. And she started with me as a zero person. Do you see how doable that is? How if I had said 30 minutes ago we're all going to run half a marathon in 3 months, you would hang up, disconnect. There'd be no attendees on here, and I'm going to go eat ice cream. So, but now we've broken it down on how it's just really simple and how to do this. But this might not be your goal. If running a marathon is not tied into your values and it's not part of your mission, vision, goal, you're never going to do this stuff. So don't fool yourself. But it is tied to hers. Okay? It's tied to hers, and that's why she gets up and does it every day. Is everybody understanding this? Is this making sense on how to use the calendar and why we're using this particular color? Yes? No, I'm not. I don't see any feedback. Miriam, thank everybody. Give
Yep.
Miriam a woohoo. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay. Does everybody get this? Yes? Let me get some yeses back. I'm not saying yes. Like that Gmail lets you change. Yes. So I can go in as much or little Gmail that you want. It's just the one we're using. But you can do similar things in Outlook and other programs. But Gmail's got a lot of functionality. I don't know if you noticed one of the things in here is the daily review. And that's for me, was for financial that we started in our Millionaire Master Plan. I was making all kinds of money and I couldn't pay bills and I didn't know why. And that's because I had no control. I wasn't focused on it. I wasn't focused on the numbers. I was out there making money, but I wasn't focused on managing it. And guess what happens when you don't focus on it? It goes away. So let me get over here to this. Okay. So I want everybody to, let me pull up what we're going to do now is we're going to focus on what each area of our life that we feel you're going to rate the area of your life. So I can put it in here if you want to print it out, but maybe we'll just use the numbers. Let me attach the handout in here. Choose a file. Give me a second. It's going to let me add it. Okay, on the book that you have in the temporary planner, we're going to go to page, find it right here. This is page 20. Go to page 20, and on a piece of paper, I want you to write down, you'll have the circle, and you're going to write a number in each one of these. So based or next to it. So for right now, the physical fitness and health, that area of their life, of your life, how do you rank that as far as happiness or satisfaction in your life? A 0 is just terrible, and a 10 is perfect and wonderful, and everything is great. And I want you to do that for each one of these in your life. And Gail's looking at this like, we just did this weekend, and I kept saying this was in our program. And when you print out the circle, you can draw little lines on it. But for now, like physical fitness, for me would be probably a 3. And then recreation and free time, 4 or 5, a 6 or a 7. You can even draw a line, like if it's a 5, you can draw a line right there. You have relationships and your influence, your friends, family, and growth, what number? Your financial situation, what do you rank that from 0 to 10? Rank each one of them and put a number next to it. Then once you do that, add up your score. A 70 would be a perfect score. So, and as soon as you get done, I'll put a little bit of music on while you do that. I want you to think about it. As soon as you get done, I want you to put your score in the chat box so that I know that you're done. Okay? So we're going to do that. If anybody has any questions, send me a chat. Okay, somebody doesn't like the music. We're gonna put slower classical music on next time. Okay, so I fixed the slides so you guys can see that. Um, I had that up, and let's look at this. So from current slide, one is physical fitness, two is recreation free time, that's orange, three is relationships with friends and family, four is financial, five is career and biz, six is personal goals, seven is community service, contribution, and legacy. So that's whether you're doing spiritual work or community work, your church, or you're giving back. For Victoria would be the doctor that's from her country, that kind of stuff. So let's see. I think it was on, we've got several questions. Okay, so there's the temporary planner was one of the documents I sent in the last email that's got each one of these in there, and it was part of the last email of the homework. So that's in there, and you can go to page, I think it is 20. Let's see. Whatever I said earlier, let me go check though, make sure. Yes, yes, page 20. And then, so we don't have it. And it says I'm on the calendar. How do you get to where I am? What part of the calendar were you talking about, Anna? And then I'll come back to that. 32, somebody had a score. Could not find it. Okay, hold on. Let me bring you guys up on the. Okay. Okay. So what we're supposed to do, and a couple people had some confusion, is you're looking at each area of your life here. Number one is physical fitness and health. From a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank your happiness or satisfaction in that category right now today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. Then go to recreation and free time and say, how would you rank your happiness or satisfaction with where you are in that category today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then go to relationships and influence, family and friends. And how would you rank that today? Does this make sense? Okay, good. Perfect. So Anna's got 52. Very good. Very good. Anna, what was your highest and your lowest category?
My highest category, 9,
Hmm.
which is recreation and free time.
That's your
And my
highest? Well, that
low,
explains a lot, right?
I know.
You're like, we're having fun, but we're not focused on money.
And then the lowest is 6, career and business.
Okay. Well, there you go. So we know where we are and where we want to go. So having six be the lowest is a great place to start from. So your motivational gap is not very far. It's really not a long way to go. This is very helpful. So if you had threes and everything, like for me, I'm a 3 in physical fitness, and health is a lot better, but the physical part is something I have to work up to. I've been injured for a long time. So really creating that schedule for me, we're going to have to start off on I need the kids menu, but I'm going to do it. This week I did a 10,000 and a 12,000 step day with my Fitbit, or is what it's called, right? Fitbit. And which I never did that stuff before, 3 or 4 months ago. Now, 3, 4 years ago, I was fighting competitively in kickboxing and I was doing sprints and everything else, but then I got hurt and I couldn't get medical care and I just went to heck in a handbasket. So I need the children's menu for the half a marathon. But I wanted to at least use that as the step so people could understand. So when we know where you want to go, Anna, in the career business part, and we make that goal, then we back into it. And what are those daily activities that we have to do to get to it? This is not for you to plug in daily activities. This is for you to go, where do I want to go? How am I going to get there? And as long as you know when you're going to start and where you're going to go, it's much easier to create that middle piece, and then we plug it into the calendar. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, put you back on mute. Anybody else have any more questions about this so I can move on to the next piece? 35, mine was 30. Okay, oh my goodness, yes, community 7. And look, the person who answered that, financial 2 and community 7, it's a perfect description of your life. It's, financial is the place that you're trying to pick up. In community, you're so giving, and you give so much contribution to the community and your nonprofits and everything else that you're doing. So completed my wheel. This, okay. And you don't have to print it either right now. You can look, I'm going to send you a blank wheel in the homework from here, but I want you just look at the numbers here, if you can see this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and just give yourself a number. So we've got Victoria's a 32, Sharon's a 29. Let me see if I can get Carla, since Carla can't do it if she's driving. So you guys are going to come up with your scores, and then we'll answer some additional questions on the office day that we're going to go through. Okay, so our focus now is to learn to pull us forward and create the space for where we're going to go. Rather than ruminating, and ruminating means negative thinking or catastrophizing or thinking about what could potentially happen and worrying about things we can't fix, it's now to move forward. So we're going to look now at a compilation of all this number. So if your number's a 30 and we're trying to get to a 70, which anybody who's got all 7 or 8s and everything is doing pretty good. But if you want to get to at least a 60 or 62, you have to figure out what number that is. Then we know where to start. And we can look at these categories to see what we need to focus on more versus what we need to focus on left. So if you took only, and I'll show you the notes that I'm writing from, and you guys will get these afterwards. We've got that here. Is that it? Okay. So process, if you only had one category in there, which one would be first up? So you might not know all the steps. So that's why I took the steps for the marathon to give you as an example. The number one thing that gets people stuck is the process. They either don't know what to do next, they don't know how to do it, or they're afraid of what the outcome is going to be and they're not sure of their steps. Who would agree with that? Because I hear that all the time in business. Well, I would do social media marketing, but I don't know where to start. I know how to do some of it, but I don't know what steps that I have or what steps that I need. So I want to add some principles here, and I want everybody to follow along with me in these principles, and I'll share them with you. Let me see if I can make this bigger, and I'll put them in the slides for you later. But in the principles, a sec. I've got some principles that I have worked on that I really try to live my life by, and I think that everyone is trying to live their life by, and they make a lot of sense too as well. So let's look at this. Okay. Principle 1. Watch the video. So principle 1 is everyone's wired differently. We all have strengths and talents that were given to us, right? Who agrees with that? We're all wired differently. The thing is that our gifts and talents are all different from everyone else's. Most of the time, these gifts are things that we take for granted. No more. We're not going to do that anymore. We're not going to take anything for granted anymore. All of the things that you're great at, but you've spent all this time beating yourself up or up over for things that you can't do, we're not going to do that anymore. What I want you to do now is identify what you're really good at in each one of these areas. So this is going to be your time to brag, okay? In these areas, what are you really good at? So we all have similarities and things in common. Our greater strengths are where we find our unique differences. This making sense? The things in common that we have. So Sanderlin and I are very, very different. But the couple of things that we have in common is what gives us our bonds. We're seeking bonds and connections, and that's what we all seek. And that's why we use our commonalities to seek bonds. But truly, it's our strengths and our gifts that are different from everybody else that makes us who we are. So I want you to look at this sheet again here with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's do an example. So if this doesn't make sense. Number 1, in physical fitness and health, what are you really good at? Even if it's one thing, what is it that you're really good at? What is your gift or strength or talent in physical fitness or health? Think about it. And this is your time to brag. You may have to dig way down deep to find something good here. Miriam doesn't. She's doing half marathons. But if we come over here to finance, career, and biz, that might be an area I'm doing really well. But each person's going to have to find something good that you're good at in each category. So is Gail here? Let's see, is Gail here? I want to hear really quick from everybody, put in the chat, and the rest of it you'll do for homework. We're not going to sit on it, but everyone in the chat, what one thing in the area of physical fitness and health are you really good at? That is your strength, that it's a gift, something that you love to do. Let me get the chat. Okay, you cannot say but in it, but so I want you to rewrite it. It's Sandra, I'm with you, girlfriend. She says, I am good at nutrition, but I just love to eat. Okay, great, no buts. If you want to say and I love to eat, if you want to add something in there, it has to say and, no buts. So Miriam, you're great at full marathons. Of course you are. It's like Marsha. Okay, stamina and determination. Who else? There's no sheet. We're just looking at the, hold on, you can't see it. Hold on. Should be able to see the PowerPoint right now. We're still on page 20. So on page 20 in your book, or if you can see the screen, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all of these areas. For each one of you, what one thing are you really good at in physical fitness and health? Okay, so let me go and read everybody's response. Using the machines at the gym, I'm assuming it's what she meant. Sandra, you got a but in there again, and my brain knows what to eat, but my eyes lie. Okay, we want to be positive with our words. Using the machines at the gym, great. Walk my dogs when my ankle allows. Okay, so let's leave out it's still a gift. You happen to be in a situation with the ankles right now, so you're really great at walking your dogs. Using the machines at the gym, we got that there. Okay, physical fitness would be stamina and determination when it comes to a race. Awesome. Victoria, stamina, very good. Bob says leg strength, awesome. Okay, Victoria, never giving up, love it. Anna, walking, wonderful. I'm knowledgeable about nutrition and I love to eat good food. Love it. My brain knows what to do. My eyes lure me to eat the wrong things. Very good. Thank you for that. The Stairmaster. Of course you are, Christina. Christina looks like a little Russian model. She's good at the Stairmaster. Sharon says, I love to eat certain green vegetables. Wonderful. So now what I want you to do is for homework, not now, we're going to go on to the next thing, is each one of these categories, and you'll have these directions in the follow-up email, is write what one strength and gift you have in each one of these areas. Does that make sense? Everybody with me? Yes? Yes, yes, yes? Okay. Number 2, let me put a number 2 here. You're going to love this one. Number 2, philosophy. Humans are naturally caught up by bright and shiny objects. This is because of impact. What does that mean? We all want to make an impact in our lives and the lives of others. God, or the universe, whichever one is your spiritual, what you recognize, but I like to say God. God gave us the inherent desire to have more, okay? We're built this way. There isn't something wrong with us, and we shouldn't feel guilty about wanting more, needing more. Unfortunately, it causes distractions. But God didn't put us here to be broke. He put us here to constantly seek more to better our lives. So, like I said, unfortunately, this gets us caught up in bright and shiny objects and magic pills, but being and having the desire to have more and do more for others is inherently inside of us, and it's not something we want to change. So where we get stuck though is the obstacles with such like distraction, procrastination, mental and physical blocks get in the way, and we become, when that all gets into place, we become fearful of the result. So that's either reaching the goals or not reaching the goals, depending on which fear that you're having. Who likes that philosophy? So the first philosophy that I've read is everyone is wired differently. We all have strengths and talents that were given to us. They're all different. They're all different from someone else's. That's number one. Number two is humans are naturally caught up by bright and shiny objects. This is because of impact. We all want to make an impact in our lives and others. God or the universe gave us the inherent desire to have more. That's number two. Okay? And I want you to know, so that means, guess what? You're not broken, right? Number three is everyone has a pair of sunglasses. Now, what does that mean? Everyone here has a pair of sunglasses, but they're all different. Mine might be rosy. Yours might be light green. Sandra's may be orange. Anna's may be black. Victoria's may be red. Everyone's got a different color of sunglasses, but we're all wearing a pair. What this means is that we all have a different view on things. We look at everything differently than each other. Even Suzanne and Bob look at things slightly different. And this is because we have an entire lifetime of experiences and beliefs and assumptions to go along with all that. When we also told ourselves a story between the ages of 2 and 9 about who we are as a human being. We created our beliefs then, and going forward, we made all of our decisions after that based on those beliefs. Now, this class is not about identifying those beliefs, but is something to think about to make sure that you're doing your very best to be open and move forward, especially with this program, okay? So number three is everyone has a different pair of glasses. Number four, and I think a lot of you will like this one, we are not humans having a spiritual experience. We are souls having a what experience? Who can tell me the answer to that? We're not humans having a spiritual experience. We are all souls having a human experience. Very good. Thank you, Miriam. No, not physical. Well, yeah, physical or human or life. That's fine. They all mean the same thing. So regardless of your religion or lack of religion, I think we can all understand and appreciate and agree that we're all souls that are having human experience. Because of this, we all have that inherent desire as well to understand and find meaning in our lives, to seek our purpose and to make sense of everything that goes on around us. Now, if you're a steel, you have a gift to make sense of things. Dynamos and blazes have a gift to confuse the crap out of you so you can figure it out. Make sense? For those of you who have spouses who are steels and dynamos, dynamos are really great, and we're going to get into this in you. Dynamos are really great at creating things. Blazes are great at connecting with people. Steels are great at processes and structure and making sense of things. And tempo are the balanced people. They're great leaders, and they're the peacekeepers. They have their ear to the ground, and they know how to balance things. They get stuck in the details of stuff or the task-driven activities. So we are not humans having a spiritual experience. We're all souls having a human experience. So that is number four. Number five is what we focus on will expand. This, I should have made this number one. What we focus on will expand. Write that down. Very, 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 very important. Okay. We will resend you everything. It'll be in the next email. What we focus on will expand. So this is proven time and time and again. If we are focused on how we want to lose weight, then we're focused on a negative. If we focus on a goal, then it will be more likely that we can achieve it. If we're focused on how busy we are and how overwhelmed we are, or for what, like I just corrected Sandra, or how our eyes lie to us, or how we love to eat too much, then that's going to expand if we're focused on that. So we want to focus on, as Carla said, I love green vegetables, or some of them, right? So what you focus on will expand. Write that down, because that is going to be the number one preface that we're going to use going forward in this program, because this program is what? Your 6-figure and beyond focus formula. It's all about what we focus on. So we're not focused on anymore how busy and overwhelmed we're. Focused, we're just going to get more of that. Whatever you're focused on, you're going to get more of it. So in the chat and for homework, I get it. What is it that now, knowing this, you want to focus on? What is it as of right now is your focus now? Just a sentence, a quick sentence. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? What is it that you want to focus on? Focus on the solution. I love it. The solution. Growing my business. Connections. Very good. Making money. Right now, my health is, and it does have to be, no, not my health has to be my priority, but I am focused on my health. I'm focused on good health. Say that. I'm focused on what's the outcome of marketing your products. Somebody said I'm focused on marketing my products, but what's the outcome of that? Put that in there. Sales. Okay. What's the outcome of sales? Sandra says, I am focused on good health. Awesome. I love that. That's what I mean. I am focused on good health. I'm focused on finances, or I'm focused on what kind of finances? Define what it is that you're focused on. More money. I'm focused on building my business. Great. Perfect. 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 Okay. When we focus on something and we're actually paying attention, we can take action and learn from it. So if we're involved in it, we can take action and we can learn from something. We can create, we can gain experience, and we can have successes and build more confidence from it. As we do this, we're going to build success. But not only that, confidence and self-esteem comes with the foundations. So if we say that we want something, but we don't pay attention to it and we don't focus on it, then we continue to create the same old story that we did in our past. So when we continue to create the same old story we did in our past, we end up getting the same what? Results. So we don't want the same results that we had in the past. All right, the next number is, what is it, 6? Influence. Our heart's desire to have a connection with other people, other souls, and other humans. It is our heart's desire to have that connection with other people, other souls, and other humans. We desire to create relationships and connections with ourselves, others, and our world. Now, this is not what I mean by social interaction, because you have your steals, the steals that I know, they don't like to network. If they go network, they're going to be holding up the wall in the back just to make sure it doesn't fall. They're analyzing everything, and they can come away with a plan of how it can be better, right? And you're laughing, steals are laughing right now. Blazes are in the middle of everything. They've made friends with everyone. They have social experience, and they can't even find the cards at the end of the night, most of them, right? They've lost them. They're under the car seat. They had a great time, and they made lots of friends. So that's, and I'm being very extreme there, but we all desire connection with other people, other souls, and other humans. So I'm not talking about the social interaction. I'm talking more about the heart connection. So write that down as number 6. Is influence. Our heart's desire to have a connection with other people, other souls, and other humans. Because we all have unique values that are different. So this is number 5, 6. So number 7 is, because we all have unique values that are different from each other, a unique brain style, unique experiences and beliefs and focus and goals, you have to know that all of us are a unique combination and integration of mind, body, spirit, emotions, values, passions, dreams, and so on. And the philosophy of this number is everything that's unique about us must be aligned with each other in our lives and our businesses for us to have a meaningful life with flow. So a meaningful life with flow is where everything is aligned together. And if it's not, as you've learned over the last few times that we've met, it's why the dog didn't get walked. Does that make sense? Is everybody understanding that about the flow? See, lowering my body fat percentage. So rather than lowering your body fat percentage, you're focused on what percentage? Think about that. I'm focused on personal financial freedom. Great. And what does that mean? Be more specific. Our brains, and this is me doing a lot of brain study, and we're going to have to go here shortly. Our brains don't know the difference between reality and our thoughts. They don't. You can meditate and see something when you're meditating. You can pray, you can dream, or you can be awake. Your brain does not know the difference. So what you tell it and what you say to it, if you say it enough times, this is, this is similarly to somebody who's a compulsive liar. When they say the same lie over and over again so many times, they now begin to believe it and they know it as a real experience. So if you tell yourself, where am I reading from? You don't I'm just reading from my notes that I was working on this afternoon, but I will send that to you guys later. I actually have it on a like just a Word document here, but I'll send it to you. You want to tell yourself the story that you want your brain to know, which is what? So take a few minutes and think about this. And let me see if I can I really want to find this video about flow. I've been searching and searching and searching for it. Maybe I have it in the history. I want you to think about a day that you've had, that everything just went perfectly. It flowed. You felt like you were just on cloud nine. The day went wonderfully. You were working in your gifts and your strengths, not the thing. You weren't trying to fix what was broken. You were working within your gifts and strengths. It was just a happy day. And it was something you just felt productive. You felt like you were in your flow. You felt like you were doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and it all just went well. Think about that day. What was that day? What does it look like to you? Try to imagine it. Close your eyes and try to envision what that looks like. We have some ideas now? And dream about it. Dream about what that day would look like to you. Okay, let me get some people to share now. What is a day of flow for you? I will want to harass Christina. Christina, you have to take yourself off of mute. But what would be your perfect day? That you're in flow, that you're using all of your gifts and your strengths. Are you there? You'll have to take yourself off of mute.
Sorry.
There you are.
I'm actually having a really hard time envisioning right now.
Okay. Well, what if you had a perfect day and you were in flow, what time would you wake up? What time do you think that if you were on a regular schedule, that was your schedule, what time would you get up?
I would wake up at 6:30 and not hesitate.
Okay. And that's a natural thing for you?
No, it's not.
Okay. But what is a natural time that you would get up?
8 o'clock, 8:30.
8:30. Is it because you're off schedule or because that's a natural thing?
I set my alarm clock at 6:30 every day, and I don't wake up till 8:30.
Wait, oh, you're a snoozer. We're gonna have to get you a clocky. I should show that video. We're already gonna be over time, but that clocky is a powerful thing. Who has trouble getting up in the morning besides Miriam, who's running 20 miles? So we're not gonna go into clocky right now. So if you, does anybody want to volunteer for this? Let's see if Pat can. Let me see, hold on. So Pat, you raised your hand, but I cannot, unless you take yourself off of mute, I cannot hear you. Are you there, Pat? Okay. I can't hear her. So why don't you let go of anything and everything else and tell me what a perfect float, a day where you were floating through your day and everything was wonderful, what would that look like? Try to imagine. Just
Can you hear me, Shelley?
Yes, I can, Pat.
Okay, I guess I found it.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get Christina. I'm not going to put you on mute, but I'm going to see if Christina can do this. Give me a perfect morning, Christina. Let's try that.
Waking up at 6:30 would be perfect. Heading to the gym. So I can get that out of the way. Starting organizing my whole day. Focusing on taking that time away for social media marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching someone, taking an hour or two,
Mm-hmm.
meditating.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say the day running smoothly without me having conversations in my head and thoughts and overanalyzing.
Okay. So think about what I want you to do. Your homework assignment is going to be to write out the perfect day of what your perfect day looks like. I woke up at this time happy and I stretched and I went and made my coffee or I walked my dog out or and then I meditated or whatever it is. Your perfect day is going to be very different than someone else's. It's what you want it to be. I want you to write that out. Can you do that? You have to do some thought, put some thought into it. But if you let's write out what your perfect day is. Okay? Can you work on that?
Yes.
Okay. It's gonna rock. Just imagine that you were in back in Scottsdale again.
Sedona.
Yeah, in Sedona. That's right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna put you back on mute, and I'm gonna see if I can get Pat to describe her perfect day.
God.
All right, Miss Pat, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So, by leaving everything else behind, everything that happened up until this moment is now in the past. From today, right now, what would you like your perfect day to be?
Um, okay. You mean starting from right now or from
Yeah.
when you wake up
It's
in the
tomorrow
morning or
morning. Tomorrow morning. You woke up tomorrow morning and we sprinkled fairy dust over your day. It's realistic
um,
fairy. The fairy has a beard, you know, but it's a fairy still.
okay. Um, well, to just wake up and be able to accomplish the things that so I try to write something the night before what I want to do the next morning and the next day and be able to wake up and if I have 5 or 7 things and I'd be happy if I got 3 of them done or one of them done. I
Mhm.
guess not all the distractions and everything coming in and
Okay, so what you don't want, tell me what you do want.
okay, I'm sorry.
Mhm. No, no, no,
Um,
it's okay. That's why we're practicing.
what I do want. To be able to wake up refreshed and feel good, uh, stretch,
Yes. Hmm.
prayer,
Hmm.
little worship music, and
Hmm.
then be able to sit and determine what I need to get done today, and then to get those things accomplished that I need to do in order to feel good about myself and get those things done that just keep getting put back all the time.
So did everybody hear how her tone changed when she switched to telling me about her perfect day to she was telling me what she didn't want to happen, and when she switched to what she wanted, she started feeling it, and your tone changed. It got much lighter. It
Okay.
did. And when you can try to envision that and try to write that out and think that way, it's more likely that we can figure out how to get it for you. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. So what would be a perfect Saturday for you? Just because I got you on a roll now.
No day is a perfect set. They're all the same to me, Shelley.
Mm.
Right now.
Okay, but it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. Perfect Saturday. I guess a perfect Saturday might be to uh, be able to be free and do something with my family and
Mhm.
enjoy the weekend instead of
And what?
worrying about what didn't get
No, 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 no,
done
no,
the
no,
rest.
no, no. No,
Oh, oh,
you
sorry.
talk about what we don't want. So,
Okay.
what does enjoying your family look like if it happened? What would that be?
Just getting out of the house and doing something.
Like what? We'll just pick something.
Hopping in the car, taking a ride to the shore, any place, just have a nice time with each other.
Perfect. Perfect. I mean, I would like for you to try to be more specific so you can actually envision it because when you were able to envision it, it actually started happening. Makes sense?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
Someone else? Let me see if I can get someone to describe their perfect day and then I'll give the rest of the homework. Thank you for sharing, Pat. Thank you. Okay, Victoria. Victoria, it's tomorrow morning and you woke up and we sprinkled fairy dust on your day. What does it look like?
Hmm. Okay. I would wake
And
up
have
at
fun with
six
it.
thirty.
Okay.
I would wake up at 6:30. Do my workout,
Mm-hmm.
meditate. I'll walk my dog. Then I would have a strategy session with
Mm-hmm.
my assistant for the day. I
Nice.
will follow up on my emails, place my phone calls for whatever sales calls I need to make.
Mm-hmm.
I will follow up with my clients. Then I will have lunch with a big potential client.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the afternoon, I would take a yoga class. And then I would go on a dinner date. And then I would come home and plan my session for the next day.
I love it. But do you see how you felt it? I know right now it sounds
Yes,
kind of crazy, but still, you like that, right?
yeah, that'd
Did
be
that feel good? How
perfect.
does that feel?
It feels great. If I
Especially
could
if
just
that
get it to
potential
happen.
client became a client at lunch, then you could go yoga, right?
Yes, exactly.
See how that works? And the only way he's going to go to lunch is for you to do the follow-up phone calls. It all backs into each other.
Hmm.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. That was awesome. I'm going to see
Oh,
now that
thanks.
everybody, now we have a wonderful example. Let's see. Sharon Wilson. It's tomorrow morning and we've sprinkled fairy dust on your day. You there? You're off of mute.
I, I am here. It's kind of hard to envision a day when I get up at 4 o'clock and go to work.
Okay, well, let's pretend we sprinkled fairy dust on your day and it's tomorrow and it's a new day of what you want your perfect day to be. And if you have to go to work at 4 o'clock, I mean, and you like that and that's what you're enjoying, there's nothing wrong with that. It's your day.
Well, well, that's what I do now, so I guess I'll stick to that.
Okay.
Get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, get ready, go to work, and
Hmm.
I know exactly what I'm going to do. No interruptions from other people. Just being
Hmm.
able to focus on getting my work done so that I can leave on time.
Okay.
When I get home, then I can focus on doing my business to where I can finally be productive in my business and move toward the financial goal that I would like before I finally retire in a few years.
Okay. And what does the productive in my business mean or what does that look like?
Well, I have a lot of products, but I haven't really tried to actually sell the products.
Hmm.
So I need to be able to focus on marketing these products so that I can eventually get sales to reach my goal of making a certain amount of money before
Hmm.
I finally retire.
And what is preventing you from doing that?
By the time I get home, I'm usually too tired to even think about the business. Since my job is I'm basically on my feet all day.
Uh,
So when I come home, I want to relax.
Absolutely. We all do. That makes sense. So when we start looking at your calendar, we're going to start finding maybe it might even be unconventional ways for you to do this. And I think that's what's going to be really important is yours doesn't I used to work with a client who is a paralegal and she couldn't do anything in the evenings. It was not possible. And we switched it to where she would make phone calls and stuff at lunchtime and then we created a different type of business model for her, which was like a healthy happy hour. She was a health coach and she was also in the legal field. So we just created a different model for her because the one that she was trying to do, it didn't work. Not when you're a paralegal and you're working all those hours. So we'll look at that down the road. But I want you to try to envision what your perfect day looks like. And if everything was the way that you could have it and the way you wanted it to be, then what would it look like? So think about that, and that's going to be part of the homework, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Chris says that I think Chris likes Victoria's Day. Okay, who else has not talked about this? Chris, Anna, let's see. Anna, what is your perfect day? And you're off of mute.
Okay. Wake up at 8 o'clock. Do meditation for
Mm-hmm.
45 minutes. Write in my journal. Make sure I write down uh, what I did the day before, what I'm going to do today,
Mm-hmm.
and every other thought that I have. Listen to audiobooks. I like doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Have lunch. After lunch, meet with 2 or 3 clients that are already set up, so that by 4 o'clock I'm done with them. Um, get back home, go for a walk or go to the beach. Uh, come back, have dinner, watch some TV, get to bed, and relax. I've relaxed
Very nice.
almost the whole day.
And how does that feel if you can have that like that?
It would be perfect for me, especially the part with the clients.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, good. And you feel good about that? Does that sound good for you?
Yes, because I would be getting everything done that I need, that I feel I need to do.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, let's see who else, and then we'll wrap this up. We have Victoria, Chris, Sandra can't talk. Suzanne, you're off of mute.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for hanging in there. So, what would a perfect day be for you?
Um, I would wake up about. I might wake up a little early. Actually, get up about 4:30 and have like a half an hour for my quiet time and just thinking. And then about 5 or 5:30, go to the gym and come back, have a good breakfast, and have a really start the day with a really clear idea of who I need to see and what needs to get done, and go out and meet with probably about 4 clients,
Mm-hmm.
and then come back and process the day, what new opportunities that have come up, and be finished with work about 5:30,
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy relaxing for the evening, and have a nice dinner, and just spend time together, and get a good night's sleep.
That sounds awesome. Can you imagine it? Can you picture that?
Yes.
I can hear that it does, and it's not. And you know what? You're not even asking for a lot. You're really not. You're not even asking for that much. So
No,
let's
but
figure out how we can create that. That's, Victoria is trying to do yoga and meditate half the day, and then she's at lunch the other half, which, might be a little, we might have to do a couple tweaks, but it's an amazing day. And we had 3 other people who want the same day. But you're not asking for that much. We should be able to get that figured out real quick, shouldn't we?
cool.
Okay. I love it. Thank you. What about Bob? Does he want to share?
You want to share?
Um, it'd be somewhat similar. I'd get up around 5. We'd hit the gym 5:30ish. Come back, shower, have breakfast. Review the emails and what needs to get done. Process what needs to get done during the day in the office. Handle the mail when it comes in, and be ready to assist Suzanne when she comes back from her afternoon meeting. And then
Awesome.
have an enjoyable evening.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Okay. I like it. I know we spent a lot of time on this piece right here. I'm going to I'm going to send this flow video to you. It's about 2 minutes, and it's really corny video about what it looks like when you're in flow. It shows a guy who's flipping hamburgers, and the hamburgers are just like, it looks like he's on cocktail, and the librarian is working. She's putting her books up, and they just like fly into the shelves so easily, and they just flow. The day is with grace and ease. And that's what I really want you to think about. And you're going to create that perfect day of what your life is going to look like with flow. And that's going to be part of your homework. And one of the things that I want to say and preface before we let you guys go is, we're going to continue on with this and then get into Chi on the next module, is I want you to take time to think about it and really just dream, not a but this or and that or if I could do that. Just imagine that is it if it has happened. And the next philosophy that we have, and the last one that I want you to know is we all have a choice. So whether or not our choices seem like a great idea or not, it's going to be debatable, right? But we all have the opportunity to make decisions in which direction our life is going to go. Our current situation today, right now, is not a position of being a victim, though. It's more of being a position of the choices we made. So and if you think about this, they could have been choices that started in childhood. They could have started yesterday, who knows? But they all were based on the choices as I married this person and I chose to do that and I chose to eat this and I chose to go into this career and everything we did, we made choices. But now we make slightly different choices to get into a different place. I want you to think about all the principles, and I will send them out in a structured format. Which one is most impactful to you, and what does it mean to you? So these kinds of little inquisitive questions is going to be part of your homework. And then the next piece of it is going to be what action that you might take to keep yourself centered with these principles. And I want to add in there the difference between a strength and a gift, which I don't think I elaborated on before. What do you think is a difference between a strength and a gift or a talent? Let me see what I can get back on some of this feedback here. What's the difference between a strength and a gift and talent? See if anybody knows. Not getting any feedback. I think everybody's waiting for somebody else too. So it was really fascinating to me when I learned this going through ADHD coaching school. A strength is something that you've worked on and built up. So whether or not it's a talent for Miriam to be a marathon runner, which it may be, we know it's a strength because she has worked on it and she has built it up, correct? It is your ability to consistently provide something with near perfect performance, not perfect. I should take that near perfect out because some of you get stuck in that. Near perfect performance in a specific activity. A gift or talent is something that you are naturally recurring pattern of thought, feeling, behavior that can be productively applied to something. Sandra is gifted in networking. Comes natural to her. It's her thought, her feeling, and her behavior. And she can do it productively. If we have a system in place, she can network productively. If she doesn't, then she can't, but it's still a gift or talent. Now, the gift and the talent is more important than the strength, in my opinion, because most of us are born with this. It's not something that can be acquired. These are unlike skills and knowledge. The skills and so it's really important that we identify what your talents and gifts are. That means that Suzanne has something very different than Bob. Even though they may be similar people, she's got a gift like no one else. And some of us, we might even have to call your mama and ask her, right? Because usually our moms can go, well, ever since he or she was 2 years old, they've been gifted at this X thing. A strength is something that can be worked on and built up. That means we can all attain it. Some of us just might have to work harder on it. But a talent or gift is something that comes to you inherently. If you have a tough time figuring this out, the next exercise we're going to do is going to help you, and it's called Shining Star Moments. I'm not going to make you do it this time, but we will do it next time. Actually, I'll send it out to you, and if you want to give a whack at it, then do. If not, I'll go through it in our next class. But the Shining Star Moments has to do with each category or area that we're looking at in the life right now. We're going to break it down to certain incidents and situations that occurred during your life. When I went through school for ADD coaching, they called it magical moments. Other companies call it different things. For me, I like to call it shining star moment because I like to be a shining star, right? But it's really going to be about you writing down all the things that you've done in your life that made you feel wonderful, about something you accomplished. If you did something to make someone else happy and didn't feel so good about it, then that doesn't really count. But these are any experiences in your life that you can go back as far as you remember, right up to today or the present, that you're looking. It's not big things or little things. It doesn't matter. It's just something that makes you feel good about what you did. And I'll give you an example of what I did. And then if we have questions on the next class, we'll go through it. But an example for me was under social, the connections, the relationship piece. I wrote down, I can make friends anywhere in the world. In 3 years, I became a chair of Junior League. I doubled the donation quantity for a particular committee, and I did this exercise like 4 years ago. I can talk to anyone, anywhere, and at that time, I wrote on my list. I have 1,400 Facebook friends, and I personally knew over 1,000 of them. And the other ones I think I played Mafia Wars with. So at the time, I have over 5,000 now. But then, and I was on the IREM governing board counselors and was head of education of IREM. And I also had spoken in front of 1,500 people and got a standing ovation. This is way back when. And finally, one of the things that I felt like was a gift or talent for me was I could get, and this is when I was in direct sales and network marketing, I could get a booking or sell anything I had on me on a plane and encourage others to inspire others to do in their life. So I used to play a game with myself that whatever I had, I'd either book somebody or I would sell something whenever I was on a plane. And that's just, it was just a talent that I had. That was for me. It wasn't for you or for me to brag about this to anyone else, but it was for me. I had to really dig deep on some of these to figure out what I did great in that category. Now, that's just one category. We have 7 categories. You're going to have more in categories, some of them, and you're going to have less in some of them. And that's okay, but you can have at least find one. So as we're getting through O, and I was going to cover some included in next week, doing this exercise, I discovered that the career biz, the social, and the educational piece were like my strongest areas for my gifts. And the other ones I knew I had to work on them, and that's okay. But the thing is what we focus on is what we're going to get. And that's what I really want you to take home with you. We're going to get into what causes more distractions and procrastination in the next class, and then we're going to lead into the Chi and the human energy system by next class. So stay tuned for the email. It'll probably be there by tomorrow. It'll have slides. You'll have the recording to this. I will find the focus video to go in it, and really just is some inquisitive homework that you have, but shouldn't be too hard. It's just going to take some focus time, right? So we have any questions before I let everybody go? Let me see. The snoozer thing to Christine. You got everybody. Yeah, talent is natural. Strength is a skill. I'm an excellent networker, and by nature I'm very good at organizing information. Awesome. I love that. I love that. Yes, you and the timer thing. It's called Clocky, and I learned this. I'll show you this. Actually, I should become an affiliate for this before I share it with you guys, but it's really hilarious. And it's something that I learned from, hold on, let me find it. I want to get Clockies at least. Okay. I'll use the one that's on HSN. But I learned about this in ADHD coaching school. It was one of the things. I don't have a problem. I have a problem sleeping. I don't have a problem getting up. I mean, I can sit there and snooze, but it's not about not getting up. My brother and people I know can sleep through a war, and some of you guys are like that. But so I'm going to show you the video. Let me put it on the right screen, and I hope you can hear this. Let me take my headphones off so that way you guys can hear everything. That might have had something to do with it. But this is, if you have someone who's a hard sleeper, this is going to be very, very beneficial. Can you guys see the video? I just want to make sure you can see a video right now. Yes? No? Yes or no? Sandra, can you see the video screen right now? Yes. Okay, perfect.
I hope that, I'm so happy that you stayed tuned. And if you're looking for a gift, and there are just some of us that are, it's hard to get us out of bed.
Exactly. And I have to say, this clock has created so much buzz, even just right here in the studio. It's really terrific. And I'm just going to get right down to it and show you what happens when Clocky goes off.
You have to get out of bed to find it because it rolls off.
Did you see that?
It rolls off the nightstand and under the bed. You have to get out of bed.
You set your alarm clock to go off 6 o'clock in the morning. It goes off, and then it starts to move on you.
Exactly.
So it forces you to get up and get it.
Right, exactly. So Clocky, and we do have 2 different colors of the Clocky. We have the cocoa and we have the aqua, which I think is really great.
If it's your husband, if it's your wife, it's your son, your daughter, your grandson or granddaughter who can't seem to get out of bed without your help, Right, Ashley? Is Ashley going by? It's okay. One of the things that we know is that as you prepare to send them off, because of those nice soft.
Okay, so that's clocky. I don't need it, but some of you might. It is a hoot. It does roll off, and it'll let you snooze for, I think, like 45, 50 seconds or something, and before it rolls off the table, and then you can snooze once, and then you have to get up. So I want to leave you guys with this. There was a client that we had that was going off to college, and he had ADD, and he had a hard time getting up. And I want to see if you guys can figure this out. He was a college student and he had a hard time getting up in the morning. So the great genius idea that we came up for him with was to get a coffee pot downstairs. His bedroom was upstairs. He had a coffee pot downstairs, and it was set. His alarm was set to go off at 7:30, and the coffee pot was set to go off at 7:35. Why did this work so well for somebody who's, if you can figure out the answer? So why did it work so well for somebody who had a hard time getting out of bed? Let me take you guys off of, Chris. No, Chris, I can't ask you. I think you know the answer. Suzanne, why do you think that it works so well? Any answer?
Smell the coffee.
Okay, smell the coffee. I'm leaving you on mute also. Anna, you're off of mute. Why do you think it worked? I'm going to ask each
Because
person.
he was already up for coffee. He wasn't going to go back to bed.
He was up for coffee. He was going to go back to bed. Okay.
No, he didn't. He would not be going back to bed if he got coffee.
Okay. Victoria, you're off of mute. And I'm leaving everyone off of mute so we can say goodbye to each other. Victoria, why do you think that it worked so well?
I have no idea.
Those of you who have a hard time getting up, you're like, none of those are going to work, right? Okay, let's see. Sharon Wilson, do you know why that works so well? Y'all are going to laugh when I tell you. So, Sharon, do you know?
It just forces you to get up out of the bed.
You don't have a hard time getting up, do you?
Oh no, I pop up.
You're up at 4:30. Some of us are going, I hadn't gone to bed yet by then. Okay. Okay, let's see. Carla, why do you think that that worked so well for him? For the coffee pot to go off 5 minutes after his alarm?
I would think it's a combination of smell and that he's a coffee junkie.
Okay, okay. What else do I have? I think Chris knows the answer, so I'm going to ask Pat. She knows. Pat, are you there? Why do you think it worked so well?
I'm not sure.
Not sure? Okay. All right. So I'm going to put this off of mute so you guys can say goodbye to everybody. Now, for those of you who have a hard time getting up, there is no smell, no coffee, no getting up that's not going to keep you from going back to bed or even getting up. The reason that it worked so well is he didn't put the coffee pot in the slot.
What?
That would do it.
Pot in the coffee maker. The pot was left off to the side. So only one day did he have to get up and coffee be all over the floor. Now he's going to get his butt up, right?
Yeah.
So those people have a hard time getting out of bed. An earthquake's not going to get him out of bed. So the smell of coffee will be like, he'll dream about it. So that's why everyone's got a unique brain style. We find what works for you. Sharon Wilson can get up at 4:30. Victoria is doing yoga and having lunch. We all have different ways of operating. We all have our geniuses, and this is what makes the world go round. And the whole reason for this program is for us to identify that and create your plan and your activity based around what you're great at, not what you're trying to fix that's broken, okay? Have a great evening, everyone. I left you guys off of mute so you could all say goodbye to each other and have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye. 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 See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.